Good evening, YouTube. Tire Metalhead Weatherman here. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. In this one, we're kind of talking a little bit about today, and then I still have this screen up from earlier. But we're talking about today as there is a slight risk for severe storms. Don't fear though, this is mainly for hail tonight. Most of these storms are going to be elevated in nature, so without that connection to the surface, the tornado threat's going to be minimal. But we could see hail above 1 inch in diameter, just above severe limits. Maybe some larger hail could be possible, but not likely. But that's pretty much what we have going on tonight. Could be a damaging wind gust or two, and this is a very isolated area as well, stretching from southwest Oklahoma into northern Texas. Here we could see a little bit of increased hail threat and a slight chance for damaging winds, or maybe a marginal chance. We'll try to stick with the wording that the Storm Prediction Center uses here. But after that, no severe weather areas to talk about at the moment. However, from the 13th onward, whereas before we were seeing a lot of days with potential too low to really call any day 4 through 8s, look what's happened now. Every single day is now getting to predictability too low, which is interesting. I'm keeping a close eye on things on the models, so if something does kind of catch my eye, which a few things have, and I'm going to go into slight detail about that, but if something major starts to really pick up here, of course you will see me talk about this on the channel. But that's pretty much what we have going on in the short to medium range here. We look at the temperatures, we'll kind of see the setup beginning to take place here. In fact, we're already kind of seeing it just with this model. We're looking at the GFS. You can see these warm temperatures starting to make a push up to the north here. This is all due to, in large part, by a ridge that is starting to set itself up. And throughout the course of the week, that ridge is going to be pretty deep at this point. So by Wednesday, we're going to start to see some temperatures getting all the way up into the 70s and 80s for places pretty far north, even parts of South Dakota getting into that action there. There's a chance of showers and storms across the Gulf Coast through Wednesday in particular. And then by Thursday, I start to see a little bit more of a sign that we may be getting a little bit of a trough coming in. In case you don't know, a ridge has warm air, trough has cold air. And I've said it on this channel 1,000 times, and I will keep saying it until the very end. Warm and cold air masses cannot exist in the same space. It just does not work. One of them has to eventually win out. In this case, the warm air mass will probably win if we were taking bets here. But that collision between the two is going to cause some increased thunderstorm activity and possibly even some severe weather. Here's a look at the 14th. You can see a cold front really start to set up here. You can see it based off this line here. I have this in the wrong color, I know. But basically this is the cold front here. Doesn't really seem like all the ingredients are together for a robust severe weather event right now, but we'll be keeping an eye on this, of course. But as we draw this forward here, we can see the setup begin to take place where we get these increased areas of warm air coming in. Then the cold air will start to come back. And through this, we could see a few severe weather events as we close in towards the end of the month. Not going to go into major detail here, but a pattern change does look like it's starting to take place as we get towards the end of the month, to where we start to see the west getting warmer and the east getting colder. And this is and it's with that why I'm a little bit more concerned as we close the month out as to there being more potential severe weather events. Because it was pretty much the same as the start of this month. We were going through a pattern change where we were in kind of a neutral type of pattern, slightly colder to the east by just a little bit. And then we started to see things shift a little bit, and before we knew it, west was cold, east was warm. But in the process of that, many severe events took place too. So we could be seeing another one of that. And this is just based off of the pattern that we were seeing with the temperatures. Another key factor of severe weather is the dew points. So when we take a look at these, watch what starts to happen as we get towards Wednesday. Here we are at Wednesday right now. This is Wednesday morning. Watch how that moisture starts to slowly surge up towards the coast here. This is towards Friday afternoon, where I'm starting to be leery of the first real potential for severe weather. You can start to see those 60-degree plus dew points, which is always a telltale sign that something's up. Moisture return is a big factor with the uncertainty with this event. That and forcing, of course. So with that being said, we start to see that moisture beginning to become a little bit more ample as we head towards the middle of the month, especially as we head towards the second half of it. As time goes on, it's going to be harder to kind of hone in on this. So this is more or less going to be hearsay now that we're past this weekend. But just these early looks at the models kind of tell us that the potential for severe weather will eventually begin to increase as time goes on. I've said it before that this pattern is not going to last, especially during this time of year. At some point, we have to deal with it. But at least since we know in advance, we can start to put our plan into action now, and we'll be able to give ourselves a much better chance of not having any injuries or worse. That being said, though, one other thing we can look at here is the jet stream. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll also close out by taking a look at the rest of the week ahead leading up into Friday. So this is the upper level jet right here that we're looking at, and you can even see now, even with what I was talking about with the temperatures, here's that ridge in place right up here. So as we go forward here, there's no real trough that comes in until we get towards Friday morning. It's not a super stout trough. It's not a very impressive looking trough, but there is a trough nonetheless. There is a small jet streak here, up to about 40 to 50 knots, but at this altitude, that's not very impressive. It will be enough to maybe spark some severe weather, but watch what happens as this goes forward here. Especially as we go further off to the east here, this seems to deepen a little bit. So with that being said, if the thermodynamics and the kinematics come into place here, we could see some severe storms. I'm leaning a little bit towards maybe a setup taking place over the mid-Atlantic possibly right now. It's kind of hard to say given how far out we are, but this has a signal to where I would lean a little bit more towards either the southeast or the mid-Atlantic. With this setup, though, it doesn't look that impressive. Even if storms were to fire over this region, not like there's any cape available as shown on this, storms look like they would be relatively elevated. But it's going to be kind of hard to pinpoint things with the way they are right now. But simply put, that's the first trough, and then here comes another one right behind it. Not very impressive starting out, but look what happens as time goes on. This is over towards the 21st right now. This date is prone to changing. But we start to see a much more stout low pressure come into play here. And this is where I think problems will start to emerge. This is about 2 weeks out from, this is a little less than 2 weeks out from now. So this is something that has to be watched a lot closer. And then from that point, here's another trough and another one right behind it. So you can kind of see the message that I'm getting at here. All good things sometimes have to come to an end. And trust me, I've been enjoying this break. I've been doing a little bit of stuff outside of here. And also work's been kind of picking up. So to get a little bit of rest has been nice. But I'm here mainly for you guys, especially those of you that appreciate me being here. That being said, one last thing to look at here. While things are still relatively quiet, we'll go ahead and take a look at the rest of the week here, leading into Friday, that is. Euro doesn't go out far enough for me to look into Saturday and Sunday at this point, or really into Friday, really. But We do see the atmospheric river coming into play over here towards the northwest. Could see some significant precipitation over there. But outside of that, even then, it's not as stout as what we have seen. Here's a low pressure on Friday coming in. This is Friday morning. And this is pretty much as far as it goes. But other than some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the southeast, a little bit of snow out west, especially towards the northwest, not a whole lot going on here. As far as rain is concerned, we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Of course, the big winners are going to be off towards the Gulf Coast and out towards the northwest. And then if we were to look at snow potential, or potential snowfall, that is, of course, the totals are going to be greatest over here towards the northwest as well, especially towards the mountainous ranges. Even then, those totals have been starting to drop off a little bit. You remember earlier in the year where we were seeing these totals of 4, 5 plus feet. Now we're starting to drop down into that 2 feet, 1 foot, 2 foot, 1 foot range, maybe a little less. So it's good to see that we are starting to slow down on that. I'm pretty sure these guys are more than tired of snow at this point, or even the rain, really. But nonetheless, it's still going to be relatively active over here. No break for you guys, unfortunately. I'm sorry to tell you. But outside of that, it's not much going on until really the weekend, I would say. But even then, it's still kind of hard to say what will happen with that. But of course, I will be here to keep you updated if things start to take a turn south. That being said, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you're enjoying the content, or if you've been here for a while, hit that subscribe button. Then of course, share the video to anyone that's interested in meteorology, finding this useful as well. And then of course, comments are always welcome. But if you say something real silly, I might not know how to reply. I'm not going to lie. But that being said, this has been Metalhead Weatherman. You guys have a good night. I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care.